Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another Minecraft episode. My name is Kimberly Quinn. I'm here with little Giovanni patiently waiting over there. How about these graphics, huh? Just incredible. And my gosh, I'd have to tell you, my birthday was yesterday. So I used to say I'm a fabulous 57, but I feel like I kind of got an extra one because I thought I was 57 like for 2 years. So anyway, now I'm a fabulous 58. And I have to tell you, we talked about the gratitude rampage. I did quite an incredible grat rampage here yesterday in the morning and ended up being in these, well, this is in the deepest part yet, but in the deep woods for 2 hours. Wow, I just totally lost track of time. And my husband even came to find me because he was worried, which I felt awful about. I was just so in the flow zone. It's absolutely intoxicating out here. So anyway, what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about, say hi, G. We're going to talk about perfect timing, that everything is just meant to unfold as it's meant to unfold. There's really no such thing as coincidences. We think that, and it's just not true. So this is also about trusting the process with a capital P. We've talked about, being aware of that divine connection that runs through all of us, regardless of how you label it. You're not going to hear me ever be, preaching at all. Never minded about, organized religion. I'm also not putting it down. It's just like neutral zone. If you're Catholic or any other denomination of Christian or Muslim or Jewish, or you celebrate something else, or you're just spiritual, this is all for you. So trusting the process, because we really need to realize, when we look backwards at our lives. Somehow it all came together. We're not saying it was easy. Bad things, especially if you live to be into your midlife and your later years, you've had some stuff happen. You've been around the block a little bit, We look back and somehow the dots all connect. And so trusting, even through the rough stuff. So trusting the process with a capital P, whether that's God or higher power, source, what did I say, universe, whatever. That it's really meant to fold how it's meant to unfold, and the just like the dots connect, and when you look backwards, it's kind of about trusting that those dots will continue to connect forwards, and it kind of like we've also talked about the whole planting the seed thing, right? We've talked about that like with farmers when they plant the seed for corn. They just kind of know that in, August and September, the corn's gonna, well, it starts sooner than that, but you're ready to eat it in, late August and into September. And then they don't, kind of dig up the seed 2 weeks later and say, so how you coming? You have any results for me yet? Can I see anything? No. They just get out their farm machinery, none of which I have the names for, and they plant these seeds in beautiful little rows, and then these gorgeous stalks pop up, and they're very symmetrical and beautiful, in late August and September, just gorgeous. And it's like the corn knows what to do, right? So farmers don't need to question it and look for constant results. So it's kind of like, especially as we approach the new year, another good example, trusting the process is also, not kicking up the dirt looking how it's all going. Wow, look at the graphics, are so cool. We're going to the gym for 3 weeks in a row, and why do I look the same? Why am I not more toned? Why am I not thinner? Why are the pounds not budged? Maybe I even gained one. And that's often when people throw in the towel because they're not seeing any results when it's all on its way. It is on its way. And it's also why in January there are a lot, the Craigslist is loaded with treadmills and ellipticals and bikes and, Pelotons or whatever. And because people just throw in the towel because it's not going fast enough for them. Also true with relationships. All of that stuff is waiting for the right time. So perfect timing has to do with it's already happening. It's already happening. There are no coincidences. I mean, if you've ever had that, okay, let's just ask you this, the title of the episode, perfect timing. How many times have any of you, think about it to yourselves, said the phrase perfect timing? Use those words. Like, wow, so-and-so showed up. You had no idea. Perfect timing. And that's because it's this whole divine connection, because we are all walking energy, and people sometimes get confused and they think that we are human beings having a spiritual experience and those things just happen once in a while like on accident. No, we're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And the more we are receptive to it, I have my good friend Tom, who I've talked about him a bunch, who's sort of area of expertise is synchronicity, did his whole doctoral dissertation on. He's also just really interesting. Looks a little bit like Superman, Clark Kent. Anyway, a little fun fact. He was also just on the Mel Robbins show, so yay, go Tom. But he talks about this a lot, and the thing is, we've got to be receptive. Otherwise, we go through life, sort of mistakenly, or let's just say being oblivious, thinking like, what a coincidence. No, when you're in receptive mode, you're tapped in and tuned on and turned on. And who says that? Abraham Hicks. I just misquoted it. But when we're really tuned in and listening to those whispers, then we really have, as my friend Tom would say, okay, Oprah says the whisper thing. My friend Tom says we watch for the green lights. When we see the green lights, that person walks in, we say, perfect timing. That's just a green light that we're in the right place at the right time. They're in the right place at the right time. And it's all happening just as it's supposed to. I know I actually used these words several times recently. One was just for the door. I had these huge, I was coming out of the grocery store or something, shopping. I don't know what I was doing. My hands were really full, and they were starting to slip and slide. Somebody was right there, happened to just see me, and I said, perfect timing, okay? That wasn't a coincidence. There was somebody right there, so I didn't drop all my packages. It was fantastic. And if you've ever had that inkling of, oh, you're thinking about somebody, then the phone rings. I've also had that happen a bunch this week, because I just know when it's my kids. My husband says, I don't know how you do that. How do you know it's not a rando telemarketer? I just know. I knew when our daughter Caitlin called last night. I knew when our son Aiden called last night. I knew when our son Ryan called last night. Bing, bang, boom, yada, yada, boom. The phone rang. I'm like, there they are. And so it's important to realize that, okay? So trusting the process involves being receptive. So in order to be receptive mode, I feel like I have to shout out to somebody here besides Tom. Love Tom. Abraham Hicks again, I think. We have to be in this place, because things are going to happen all around us. We're going to be oblivious to if we're not tuned in to that, the connection thing, the energy thing. We are walking balls of energy. Energy is right in here in these wonderful bodies that carry us around. So the first thing we need to do is kind of have some clarity, okay? Ask questions and kind of know what your next move is. That's when we work into receptive mode, because we're paying attention. We've got to pay attention. Really, we can sum up life in two very general ways. It's about attention and intention. Only what we pay attention to is what's going to make it to long-term memory, which is another episode. But where our attention is, so is the power. We quiet the mind, we're mindful, and it's a focus thing. Okay, and then we have our intention, and I set one every single day of my life. So here's the thing, let's say my intention today is to be a catcher's mitt, open and receptive to every whisper going on around me. I'm going to listen, hear it, and then follow it. Okay, so when we are in receptive mode, once we hear the whispers or see the green lights, then, okay, this is the direction I need to go, and trust it. Trust these impulses. I'm not talking about impulses like reckless spending. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about authentic impulses when we're hearing the whispers and watching for the green lights. All of a sudden, we get this kind of little urge to call so-and-so. We get this little urge to go see so-and-so. And then all of a sudden, there's the job offer, or there's the relationship, or that is how it works. And so I think what I'm saying is we really have to really set, the negative, fear-based, anxious thinking aside. I realize that's easier said than done. But it's also, it is that simple, right? I say simple, easy, but it is that simple. In order to be in receptive mode, we need to be mindful, and we need to be grateful for what we've got now. Oh, here's the other thing. I almost forgot this, very important. While we're along this path of, sort of getting towards our next move, whether it's a relationship or it's a job or it's travel or it's moving or whatever, it is so mega, 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 hey, little g, important to celebrate all the little whispers and impulses that go well along the way, all the little itty bitty green lights. We got to celebrate those. I have stuff going on right now, the project I'm working on, and I just got this reach out, like a phone call. It's like, oh my God, it couldn't have been a louder, clearer message. Like neon sign in Vegas that tapped right into my interest and everything, seemingly out of nowhere, but there's no such thing. Okay, so when we're tapped in, tuned in, turned on, that's what it is. Tapped in, tuned in, turned on. That's what Abraham Hicks says. Then we are ready. And then all we need to do is follow these impulses. Again, we're not talking about reckless spending and things like that. We're talking about that authentic, got to call somebody, got to be here. Something's just telling me to sit at this cafe for 15 minutes longer. Listen to that stuff. Listen, because it's all happening for a reason. All of it's happening for a reason. So I think that's really pretty much it. So trust that the dots are still going to connect for you. Trust the process. It's all perfect timing. And the hardest thing, I say one last thing here. I was almost done. Promise. One last thing, it does involve a certain degree of patience, because our timing isn't the universe's timing. Probably the toughest part of the whole manifestation thing for me, because I want it all yesterday. This is I'm in a fast mind club, the ADHD thing. So the patience part is hard, but it's happening as it is supposed to happen. Oh, lastly, almost done, promise. It also is to remember that life doesn't happen to us, it happens for us. So this is important too. While we're along the path to authenticity, we're manifesting, we're receiving, our lives are getting better and better and better and better. Life happens, something happens, to realize that that's all part of it too, because who knows, with that adversity and you getting through it and coming out on top and gaining so much wisdom, the wounds into wisdom, you turn your wounds into wisdom, and now you've got all this new outlook and you're stronger and better for it and all that stuff. Who knows, when you're going through all that hard stuff, that isn't part of the universe's bigger plan for you to be a blessing to somebody else. Man, because I've seen that in my life more times than I could possibly ever count. People with me, and they're my blessing, and then the other way around. So the point is, it's perfect timing. All of it. All of it. It's happening for you, not to you. Awesome. Listen to the whispers and follow those authentic impulses. Act on them. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from Winter Wonderland in Northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.